Okay, happy Sunday, everybody. Hello, hello. I am so excited that you guys are taking time out of your Sunday afternoon to hop on a team training in Zoom. We have some exciting events coming up this week, and maybe you're hopping on and you are not planning on coming to one of the events in Nebraska because you live out of state, but you just wanted to soak up some good team training time. I encourage you guys still to take notes because what we teach you guys today on this Zoom is definitely, we're going to use the events that are coming up this week as an example. But you can use this information for any event that you're going to be inviting to in the near future. So all of this information will apply to everybody, but we are going to use the Nebraska events as kind of an example since those are coming up this week. But my name is Walmer, and I am a founding circle member with Emrys International, and I am so honored to be on here with you guys. And like I said, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday. And we also have Tamera Toof, who is a founding circle member, on with us today, and you guys will get to hear from her in just a second. So I met Tamera, oh gosh, it's been about 10 years ago. It's crazy. We were sideline sisters in one of the very first companies that I was a part of that was with health and wellness in this industry. It was actually the company that we both met Matthew and Eileen at, and we worked side by side together. She was one of my favorite people in that business with, and we've continued that friendship and developed that friendship even now, and I'm so excited. I remember when Aspen reached out to me and told me that she was going to be offering Tamera a founding circle member position, and we were hoping that her and Jim were going to say yes, but I just said to Aspen I couldn't ask for a better, sideline sister than Tamera Tooth, because I just respect and admire her so much. Her heart is so huge. But you guys, she knows what she's doing in this business. She won't brag on herself and she won't tell you guys this, but Tamera is very, very successful outside of network marketing and inside of network marketing. She's a very successful real estate agent. And you are so lucky to be able to hear from her today, because she's going to tell you guys some tips and tricks on how to invite people to events, and not just invite them there, but make sure you get them there. And so before we get started, I just want to tell you guys one thing. So if you've ever invited anybody to an event before, whether it's maybe been a three-way call, maybe it's been an in-person event, maybe it's been a Discover Emrys event, a webinar, or maybe you're brand new and this is your first experience and you've never invited anybody yet, you're going to get some really good follow-up tools and some tools and some tips to put in your toolbox. But I know for myself, I've invited people to events before in the past, and I'm like, oh, nobody showed up. What the heck? What the heck's wrong with them, right? And it wasn't necessarily that I did anything wrong, but there are different things that we can refine in different things that we're saying and different things that we're doing that we're going to tell you guys. And I know for me, one thing I've realized over the years is I can't control who shows up to an event. I can't control, if their kid gets sick, or if they get pulled over, or if a better opportunity came up, like maybe their girlfriend wanted to go to happy hour with them or something like that, right? And they're like, I would rather go to dinner with my best friend than go to this thing that my friend is inviting me to that I don't even know if I want to go to, right? We can't control those circumstances that pop up. But the one thing that we can control is how many people we are inviting to the event, right? If you invite 3 people to something and all 3 of them have something that pops up, maybe one of them gets sick, maybe they forgot about their kids' conferences that same day, and maybe they get invited out by a friend to go play golf or do something, right? You can't control that, but you can control how many people that you're talking to. And I read a book this summer called 10X by Grant Cardone. I highly recommend all of you guys look that up and read his stuff. He's super in your face, so just get ready for that kind of coaching. I listened to it actually on Audible because I wanted to hear his intensity in his voice. But he talks about, if you have a goal, to 10x it, meaning if your goal is to get 3 people to an event, you're going to 10x it by getting 30 people to the event, or you're going to reach out to 30 people to get them there, because you can't control how many people come, but what you do have in your control, you should control, right? And so the other thing too, you guys, as we're talking about this, is remember that these events are not just for guests. They're not just for your prospects. Yes, that is the goal. Our goal is to grow your team. Our goal is to get as many prospects to these events this next week as possible, because once they get in front of Emrys, then they see it for themselves, and they don't know what they're saying no to until they get there, right? They have no idea what we all have in our hands until they actually come, see it, listen to it, be able to have conversations with the owners, Aspen, Matthew, and Eileen. This is going to be an incredible week for our businesses. But don't forget about the people that just joined your team. A big part of what keeps people in this kind of business is when they're close to the fire. You guys know what the fire is? The fire is us. It's our team. It's the community that we all have together. It's Matthew, Aspen, Eileen, hearing them talk, getting close to the fire, getting on Zooms like this, plugging in when you're, doing your laundry or whatever it is that you're doing today, that you guys took time out of your day to get on here because you wanted to stay close to the fire. And so remember that inviting people to these events is about your guests, but it's also about those new team members that need to see the bigger vision of this company. They need to see that these people that we keep talking about, Aspen, Matthew, Eileen, that they're real people, right? They're not just people on the other end of a webinar. You'll get to meet your guys as leaders. You're going to get to meet sidelines, If you guys live in Lincoln and maybe you're on Tamera's team, you'll get to meet me and Stephanie and Carlotta and some of the awesome people that are going to be your sideline sisters. And if you are on our team, you guys are going to get to meet Tamera and all the rock stars that she has. And I've learned through this business, in this industry, you guys, success, it's an identity process. Sometimes you don't identify with the person you signed up with. They might be your best friend and your sister, right? But it might be somebody else on somebody else's team that says something to you that resonates with you, that you start running with, and now you start having the confidence. And so make sure that you're not just inviting guests to these events, but you're also getting every single person on your team. And before I turn it over to Tamera, I will say one thing. Just because we post something or you post something in a group chat or a Facebook team page, do not assume that every single person on your team knows about it and sees about it. Personal communication, that personal touch with those people is key. Okay, for me as a leader, I'll throw things in a chat to let everybody know as the masses, but then I send out a personal text message. Hey, are you getting on the Zoom today? Hey, are you going to be at the event tonight? Okay, or a personal Facebook message if you don't have their phone number. Make sure you guys take that extra step. Don't be lazy. I know it takes 5 more minutes out of your day to actually personally text message some of the people on your team, but that is how you're ensuring that they're going to get to an event, because there's no accountability in a chat. If you just say, hey, Zoom starting in 10 minutes, or hey, there's a Zoom today on here, there's no accountability. But if you say, personally reach out to Tamera too, hey, Tamera, are you going to be on the Zoom today at 3:00? Tamera's like, yeah, I am, or no, I'm not, right? And there's that accountability one-on-one with your leader. So if you've got one person on your team or 5 people on your team or 10, take time to personally send out messages to them, inviting them to these events, letting them know that you want to see them there on Wednesday and Friday at the opportunity trainings and the opportunity events, and that you can't wait to meet them. Okay, take that next step to invite them. So now you guys are in for a treat. You get to hear from Tamera talk about how you're going to get guests to an event, how you're going to invite to these team events. So Tamera, can you go ahead and unmute yourself, or do you want me to?
Yep, I did it. We're good.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to put you on spotlight.
Hey. Hello. Thanks guys for being on the Zoom with us. Isn't Ashley amazing? And thanks for the introduction earlier, Ashley. You're awesome. And she is so good at coaching and teaching how to get the steps to help you be successful in this business. That's why she is growing so fast and so successful in this industry. And she has a big heart too. That's why I think we bond so well together, because we really do care for ourselves and for others, and we want people to win in this industry, and we get to be part of something so amazing to change how this industry is going to be. We're going to rock it here at Emrys, and we're so glad you guys want to be a part of this and you're willing to learn, because to me, I tell people, those that are coachable and they're willing to learn and get outside their comfort zone are the ones that are going to build a big business. And Ashley and I have talked, we still have a lot to learn too. So just know that we're always working to get better and be better leaders for you, and get better call in our own personals, and we get nervous sometimes too. So I don't want you to think we don't. I'm just going to tell you personally, a lot of people, I'm very outgoing and they think it's easy for me, but I get nervous too. There's some people that I'm nervous to call. I do it because I know how big this is going to be. And I also know I want this so bad for my family and so bad for all my friends and people that want this. And so I know as a leader, and I know Ashley's this way, we have to do what we're asking you to do. We need to do it too. And so we're out there busting our butt to get this done because we want you guys to do great things in this business too. So here's what I want to talk about. There's a couple different ways you can invite people. I will tell you mine that I'm most comfortable is just picking up the phone and talking to people. Now, what I have found in this business, most people are not comfortable doing that, and totally fine. We'll teach you some other ways, and I'll have Ashley chime in a little bit on that too. But I'm going to kind of just go over some ways that I call, like what I'm saying. And then Ashley and I are going to do a little role playing too. But first I'm going to talk about it, and then we'll do some role playing. Because that's how I learn best, is actually being like, this may be a little weird for some people, but I act like I'm kind of an actress and I'm somebody else besides myself. And I want to be prepared. And so I need to practice before I call. So just know we're practicing too, because this isn't typically a normal thing that you're doing every day of your life, except for you'll get used to doing this. So one way to invite, I would call someone and say, hey, this is Tamera Toof. I was just giving you a quick call, seeing if you're open to other streams of income. And I'll do that with Ashley, but I'm just giving you a question to ask instead of just being so direct with people, because I'm going to tell you, I've learned I am a very direct person, but sometimes it doesn't always work in certain situations in this business. And that's where I've had to grow and learn not to just be so direct, but get really good at asking questions. So I've learned, so I'm going back to my notes, sorry, that the better you can get at asking questions, the better people will be engaged in this business, whether that's a text question or through Messenger or on a voice-to-voice phone call with somebody. Asking questions, you guys, makes people feel you care about them versus you talking all about yourself. And I always say throwing up on others, which I've done before too, so just know that. But it is better if you can ask questions. So you're asking if they're open to other streams of income. There could be other questions you can ask. Ashley, is there another question that you can think of that would be good besides that one?
Like for first initial contact?
Yeah, what's a question we could ask?
For me, like when I'm inviting people to events, I like to just say, hey, what are you up to this week? What's going on? Because instead of like sending a bunch of paragraphs of information, if they automatically are like, I don't know, I'm pretty free, why? Then you can go in for the, hey, well, I'm curious if you'd want to come with me on Wednesday night to an opportunity event. I don't know if you're open to, other streams of income, but I think that this would be a great fit for you. Are you free?
Perfect. And those are great ways to do texting and stuff with people too. And a phone call may be just a little more direct. These are things I'll say to people. Hey, I was thinking of you today. And they're like, what are you up to, Tamera? So I'll say things like that. And I'll just say, hey, I was just giving you a quick call because we have an event this week. And I just didn't know if you're open to other streams of income. Would you like to be my guest and come learn about it? And then there's some conversation in it, but we're both asking more questions, and then it's just different ways. So you need to be yourself, right, Ashley?
Yeah.
People need to be who they are. And my friends, if I said something different, they may feel it's fake. And so you have to be yourself and make sure it's you, even in your text messages and even in your voice calls when you're calling people. So I'm going to call Ashley and do one, and then I'll have her call me, and let's just give you some ideas of just what it sounds like. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Ashley, it's Tamera. What are you up to?
Oh my gosh. How are you? I haven't heard from you in so long. I am just hanging out with my kids today. What are you up to?
Awesome. Well, I was thinking about you because our little girl, I don't know if you've seen some things about her, and I was just thinking of you too and seeing how your kids are all doing.
Yeah, we're doing good. It's spring break. It just started, so it's like crazy around.
Awesome. I know it's been a while, but the reason I was thinking of you, Ashley, is I have been blessed with an opportunity to be direct to a health and wellness company. And I was just wondering if you're open to other streams of income.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would just kind of depend on like what it is, but I'm always open to at least like hearing stuff and learning information.
Awesome. I knew you would be, Ashley. That's why you're a good friend. Hey, we have a couple events coming up where the actual owners are going to be here. And one of the owners is a really good friend of mine. And I was just seeing if Wednesday or Friday might be a better night for you to come at 6:30 to the Lincoln Country Club and be my guest. I'd love to see you.
Oh, I'd love to see you too. Yeah, I mean, okay, could you tell me a little bit more? Like, it sounds interesting, but like, what is it?
Yeah, no problem. Quick, Ashley. And again, that's why I want you to come so you can learn more. I really, over the phone, isn't going to even give it justice on how awesome this is. However, it is in the space of holistic nutrition and CBD wellness. And I was just, again, seeing if Wednesday or Friday would work for you to come be my guest and check it out and really learn more about it.
Yeah, I think Wednesday probably would be best for me. I definitely want, like, I'm super interested. I've heard CBD is like going to be like the next new thing. That sounds like super interesting. So Wednesday, okay, where do I need to go? Where do I need to go?
So what I'm going to do, if Wednesday works, I'm just going to get you an invite and an image that I'll text you. Does that work?
Yeah, perfect. That sounds
Has
great.
all the details. And then is that okay to follow up with you quick on Tuesday just to remind you? Because I am really excited. I can't wait to give you a hug.
Yeah, and definitely remind me because, things come up for sure. So yes.
Yep. Awesome. I can't wait to see you, Ashley. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Thanks. Yep. Okay, you want to give me a call, Ashley, and what your conversation might go like?
Yes, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to do this as maybe I've already talked to Tamera a little bit about Emrys because I know that there are people that you guys have been talking to that maybe they're just on the fence. Maybe they haven't responded to something that you've invited them to in the past. Maybe they've gotten on a Zoom, but you're like, man, the owners are coming to Lincoln, so I really want them to meet them. So, okay.
Awesome.
Ring.
Hello?
Hey, Tamera, it's Ash. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I have a quick question for you. I don't know what you have going on this week. Are you crazy busy or are you free at all?
I guess it depends what it is, Ashley.
Okay. Well, you know how I had you get on that Zoom last week with the company that I'm working with, Emrys. I actually am going to be heading to an event with the owners, and I would love to have you at least come meet them, kind of check it out. Does Wednesday or Friday work better for you?
Oh, so you're actually going to be here in Lincoln?
Yes, I'm actually coming, and the owners of the company are going to be at an event in Lincoln.
Yeah, probably Friday night would be good.
Okay, because I know that you got on the Zoom, but I also know that you haven't really taken a good look at like what this is, and I just thought it would be such a great opportunity for you to actually sit down and meet them in person and to know like really what we have our hands on.
Yeah, because I did watch the Zoom, and I am a little interested, so it'd be good to see you again and learn a little bit more. Get some more exposure.
Okay. I'm going to text you an invite so that way you know exactly where you're going and what time, but Friday night, and we can chat then. Does that sound good?
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley, for thinking of me.
You're so welcome. All right. I'll see you on Friday.
Awesome.
All right. And so I always like I said, you guys, I like to ask like if they're free, because if Tamera, or here's the thing, if on Tuesday you're reaching out to somebody and you're like, hey, what are you up to tomorrow night? Okay. And they're like, oh, I've got church going on. Why? What's up? That's usually what they say. It's a back and forth conversation, right? Like, well, I have church on Wednesday. Why? What's up? Well, hey, I'm actually coming to town. I have an event, Emrys that I've been talking to you about. We have an in-person event on Wednesday and I really wanted you to come. But since you're busy, are you free Friday? And then if they're like, no, Friday doesn't work. Okay. That's when you guys can invite them maybe to like a one-on-one. Well, when does work for you this week? Like when's a good time besides Wednesday night or Friday night that we could get together and sit down and go over this?
Yep.
Okay. Was there anything else, Tamera, you wanted to go over about how to invite?
Yeah. So let's do like a text. So I'll give a couple examples what I would do and how that conversation might sound or look. And then I'll have Ashley do one to an example. So I would ask a simple question and just say, hey, what are you doing this week? Same thing. And then why? And then I would say, hey, the owners of the company I was telling you about are actually going to be here in town. And here's the invite, seeing if you'd go as my guest. I may keep it that simple. And that's somebody that I've already talked to about it. Keep it that simple. Let them tell you Wednesday or Friday would work. And then if you haven't heard from, because this happens, right, you guys? Sometimes you give it and then they're like the conversation ends, right? It stops for a little bit. So sometimes, but this is my personality, then a day later I may go, hello, you still there? Like, make it kind of fun because that's my personality. And they're like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah happened, right? You want to just kind of make it lighthearted is what I would say. And then I just like, okay, does Wednesday or Friday work better for you? I'm direct that way, but not in a rude way. That's my personality. I come from an assumption closing. That's who I am. So I'm assuming they're coming to one of them, whether they are or not. I'm just assuming it already. They'll hear that in your conversation, in your voice, when you assume things. Oh my gosh, so which one's better for you, Wednesday or Friday? And then they're going to tell you neither is, or you know what, Friday looks better. Great. I'm going to put you down for Friday as my guest. You want to tell them that in a text? I'm going to put you down as Friday as my guest. I can't wait to see you, and I'll remind you on Thursday and probably even Friday morning. So I really want to see you. So that's kind of how my conversation might go. Pretty simple. I'm not getting into detail. I'm not giving a long paragraph. I'm keeping it very conversational and not so much detail about it, because the reason you don't want to give all the information is you want them to come. Your whole goal is to get people to come. And when you tell them too much, there really, in their mind, isn't a reason to come. Would you agree, Ashley?
Yeah, you give them enough information to say no.
Yep. So we just want enough to build that curiosity, like they want to be there, and you wrote their name down. So you're putting them down as a guest. So you want to make sure you're following up. Hey, I got you down on the guest list. Can't wait to see you on Friday when you're messaging back. Okay. Ashley, how would you do a text conversation?
A lot of the same kind of stuff. And I want to say one thing real quick, you guys. I want you to remember this. KISS. KISS. Yeah. Keep it simple, silly. Because I don't like to say stupid, because that's supposed to be. Keep it simple, stupid. But I call it keep it simple, silly. So anytime you are like overcomplicating it, just remember, if a kindergartner can't understand it, you're overcomplicating it, and it needs to be simplified. I like to keep text messages 1 to 2 sentences. Why? Yep. Because of that. One, if you're somebody who's nervous to pick up the phone, just think about this. If I were to call you right now, I wouldn't say, hey, Tamera, guess what? Before she even answers, right? Ring, Tamera says hi. Hey, Tamera, guess what? It's Ashley Walmer. I'm actually coming to Lincoln, Nebraska this week. I'm so excited because I'm heading to an event. I'm going there Wednesday and Friday, and the company owners of my company are actually going to be there, and I really want you to come. And on and on and on, right? You don't do that. It's very back and forth. It's, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? What are you up to? It's this back and forth conversation. You don't talk at people. And so I like to think the same thing when I'm texting people. You don't want to send them paragraphs of information because you're talking at them instead of having a conversation with them. So for me, it would be the exact same thing. I would send just a text message that says something like, hey, Tamera, how are you? Happy Sunday. Hey, random question for you. What are you up to this week? What are you up to Wednesday or Friday? Oh, I don't know. What's up? Well, hey, I'm actually coming to town. Or if you live in Lincoln, hey, actually the owners of my company are coming to town and we're having an event. I'd love for you just to come take a look. Do either of those days work for you? Okay, then let them respond. So very, very, I love that. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Carrie Ray wrote in the chat.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. So, and then as soon as they're like, yeah, then I send them the image as a reminder text. And then, you guys, I follow up with them that day. I know Tamera takes the approach where she asks them if she can follow up with them. If you forget, that's fine. You don't need permission to just text them. If you're having a barbecue at your house, okay, if you're having a barbecue and you would, if it's at 5 o'clock, you'd probably send out reminder texts like at 3, like, hey, don't forget to bring, a dish to pass, or can't wait to see you, and so those are my text messages that I send the day of the event. At like 2 or 3, I'll say something like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you tonight. Are you still planning on coming? Okay. And that way, if they're like, no, something else came up, you can then say, okay, well, does Friday work for you? And if the Friday doesn't work for them, well, hey, let's grab lunch this week. When does work for you? All right. So I'll tell you guys something that happened in my business my previous company, we were doing weekly events. Every single week we were doing these events, and they were blowing up, and everybody was coming. And about a month or two later, it started to slow down a little bit, and there weren't as many people there. And so actually that time there were no guests there at all, not even a single guest there. And I remember talking to my team, and I was saying, okay, what happened this week? And they're like, well, yeah, we're just doing the same thing. We're just inviting to Wednesday night, because they were Wednesday nights. Yeah, all week long from last Wednesday, this Wednesday, we've just been inviting to Wednesday night. And I said, I want you to try something different this week. I want you to see when they're available and say, hey, I need to sit down and talk to you about something. When are you free? And that could either be on the phone or that could be one-on-one, because maybe they're not free on Wednesday night. And if you keep inviting them every week to Wednesday night, and every Wednesday night they have an event, guess what? They're not coming, right? And so I said, I want you to try something different. See when they're free. Do a one-on-one, do a phone call, get in front of them. And then guess what happened? That next week, there were like 17 guests there, because all week long, they were doing personal conversations, having one-on-ones. And then guess what? At the one-on-one, they were then inviting to the next event. Well, hey, if you're at Panera sitting down with someone and you show them the Discover Emirates event, or you talk to them, well, hey, we have this event on Wednesday night. The owners of the company are actually coming. Like, you need to come and check this out. They're going to want to come because you had that first initial touch with them. So make sure you guys follow up, remind them, don't send them a paragraph. And then I want to talk, let's move into actually at the event and how to seal the deal with people. So you got people at the event, you got them there, they're there, they just watched the Discover Emirates. Matthew, Eileen, and Aspen just killed it. We are going to have a simple, small break for about 10 minutes where guests may leave, and then afterwards we're going to do some training, okay? The guests are more than willing. They can stay if they want to stay for the training. They don't have to. But if you have a guest at Wednesday or Friday, your goal, your job in that 10 minutes is to close them, okay? So you need to go find your guest. You need to say, okay, what are you thinking? Are you going to do this with me? Okay? Assume the sale. That is my favorite thing that I like to ask people. Do you see yourself doing this with me? Okay? The reason why is they usually give me an objection. That's the goal, you guys. Very few people will be like, yes, I'm all in. That was awesome, right? Like, oh, okay. I should say not very few, because that's happened a lot with Emirates. Like, lots of people, when they see this, they're like, yes, I want in. But just remember, they're human. They're going to start thinking about, I don't know if I have time. I already have a job. I'm super busy. I don't know if we have the money to put into this, even though I want to. Man, I'm not really good at sales. I've tried something like this before and it didn't work. They're already in their head thinking of all of these things. They want to say yes, but there's just this little thing that's kind of holding them back. So I always say it's my job to get that out as fast as possible. So when you walk up to them after the Discover Emirates event and you're sitting next to them and you say, okay, so what do you think? Do you see yourself doing this with me? And they're like, I so want to. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in. Like, I'm so busy. Ashley, you just don't understand. No. And this is where, and you might have heard me talk about this before, overcoming objections. I do feel, felt, found. Okay. And then reassure. So if she's saying, or he's saying, I don't know, Ashley, I have so much on my plate right now. I'm running a business. I just don't know how I can add on another business to my plate. I totally understand what you're saying. Like, I get why you feel that way. I felt that way before. Mike owned a company and he was working 90 hours a week and things were crazy. We had 3 kids in baseball and our life was chaotic. And there was no way that I thought in any situation that I would have ever wanted to add something more to my plate. But here's the deal. This is a ground floor opportunity. And things like this, they don't happen very often. This opportunity is not going to come knocking on your door a year, 2 years from now. Yes, this will still be a good opportunity a year, 2 years down the road, but it's so special right now because it's at the very beginning. And I think you'd be incredible at this. You already have the sales experience. You're going to be amazing. Your network is incredible. You know so many other people that are going to want to run with this. Okay, so you do feel, felt, found, and then you reassure them. And part of reassuring them is telling them why you want them on your team, why they would be good at this, because they need that extra confidence. Because what do objections do? They make you feel like you can't do it, you don't want to do it. There's all these things there, and it's our job to make them feel Like, you're not going to be alone in this. We're going to be here with you. And you see all of these things in them that maybe they can't see for themselves. And they just need that person to come alongside of them and say it, speak life into them, and help them, reassure them that they're not going to be alone in this. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I missed with that. So one, just know objections are coming, you guys. It's going to happen. Very few people just say yes without saying something. They might ask you questions about the product. They might ask you, things that you can't answer. That's where, especially at an event like this, you're going to want to go to your upline. You're going to want to go to your leader and have them come with you to talk to those people. I know all of us will be available to help seal the deal with your guests, to help, if you're on Tamera's team and you need help, go grab Tamera and she will come over and help you seal the deal with them. If you're on my team or Steph's team, or Kathleen's team, anybody on my team, you guys, grab one of your uplines, because we know how to overcome objections. We can come alongside of you and help seal the deal. But in that 10-minute break, that's your goal. Your goal is to get them. And then guess what? You grab your phone and you enroll them right then and there. Okay. So what I do to make that ask after I've said to them, do you see yourself doing this with me? I've overcame their objections. I've reassured them. As soon as I've reassured them, I don't just let it sit there. Okay. I'm like, let's go ahead and get you in. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Right. And they're like, okay, and so I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to go to my website, Emerson International /Ashley Walmer, and I'm going to start enrolling them right then and there at the event. It's so easy, you guys. It's so simple to do it on Wednesday or on Friday. You don't even need to wait 24 hours to follow up with them. Some people might need that little bit of extra time. They might need to go home and talk to a spouse. That's okay too. All right. So Tamera now is going to talk to you about how you follow up after an event.
Awesome. Good job, Ashley. I just write notes. I hope you guys are all writing all these awesome notes. Like I said, we're still learning too how to get better. So
I love it.
So what I do, if they are just not ready, or you maybe didn't get to them in that 10 minutes because you had all 30 guests show up, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? So what I always do is I don't even ask. I just the next day give them a call, or I guess you could say, hey, I'll just touch base with you tomorrow. And then again, text and say, hey, is this a good time to chat? And make sure they're available, and then just pick up the phone if they say yes, and then you're just saying. So now that you've thought about it a little bit, do you see yourself doing this with us? Oh my gosh, it'd be so fun. A lot of my team is a lot about fun. They love to have fun. I always say I'm not doing something unless it's fun. That's my personality. So again, use whatever yours is. And a lot of times people aren't having fun in their lives or what they're doing. So this could be something that could be really good for them and to give some fun into their life. So just, again, the assumptive close, I just do that over the phone, or maybe they want to get back together again with you. So set up that follow-up in person. You can do that. And then just show them how you can help them get started. What else? So I got to look at my notes a little bit. Oh, the other follow-up too. So those that did sign up that got on your phone, if you brought your laptop, I would also let them know you're going to follow up the next day, you guys. So it's so important to get people started. And so they've signed up. So now you're saying, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. We're going to do a quick strategy on how to help you build your list on who you're going to call and what that's going to sound like. And I'm going to help you with some verbiage. And we're going to help get in front of people so we get your first 2 signed up. And then we'll move on from there. So part of the follow-up is also those that have signed up. You want to connect with them right away the next day because they are so excited. And you want to make sure you're connecting with them on that excitement. So when they're calling their people or texting, they still have that same excitement to help them be successful. So both things are important. You're following up with those that did not sign up, and you're following up with those that did, and helping them with their next steps on how to be successful. And that's what we do. Here's my biggest thing is fortune is in the follow-up. Whether the follow-up's right after the presentation, that's a follow-up, closing. Or that you're calling them, or you're following up with those that join your business, fortune's in the follow-up. Anything that you do in this business, you cannot assume people know what to do and how to go get started. Not everybody does. They need some steps, or they need some encouragement to move them to the next steps in their business. And we tell people we're going to be there for you. And so that shows that you are there for them and to help with that and stuff. And again, if you need our help, we will help you too with getting on a call and doing a strategy with them. Just let us know. Ashley's great at three-way calls and teaching and training, and that's what we're doing. That's the purpose of the three-way calls, is to teach you why we're asking questions and how to help them. So then you can go help them with their team. And that's being duplicatable in this business. We're all learning from each other and duplicating. I always say the best copycat wins. So I'm going to be listening to this video over and over again myself, because I want to hear even more what Ashley said, get more notes down, and maybe listen to my own words, what I'm doing, and make sure I'm doing what I say I'm doing, telling you all to do, and help me to be more accountable. And Ashley and I do that for each other, make sure we're accountable to each other as your leaders. And it's just really exciting. Anything else, Ashley, that we want to add in closing this? Gosh, guys, you've done awesome. It's about 40 minutes and every participant stayed on. That's so awesome on a Sunday.
I love it. Okay, the only other thing I was going to add to follow up, you guys, is I'm a very strategic person, meaning I have to have a plan in place, because if I don't have a plan, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, well, that is me, and I've learned the hard way that if I don't figure things out and come up with a plan, I don't do anything. How many of you can relate to that? If you have a to-do list, it's like a mile long, you get overwhelmed. You're like, where do I start? All of it's a priority, right? And sometimes what happens for me, if I get so overwhelmed, I don't do anything, because I get so overwhelmed, I can't figure out where to start. And so I always have to have a plan in place. Follow up is a big part. Hold on, I'm going to, there's some background noise. I'm just going to mute out real quick. Okay. Follow up is a big, huge, important part of your business. And you need to plan that in. Every single day, I plan follow-ups. And so if this week, maybe you're on here and you're not coming to the event in Nebraska, all right? But you guys, tonight, Monday night and Tuesday night, we have Discover Emrys webinars. Your goal should be, remember, inviting as many people onto those as possible. You can't control how many people get on, but you can control how many you invite to that. And follow up immediately after. So the second that the event ends, whether it's a Discover Emrys event, online or in person, I'm making the ask. And that is, hey, what'd you think? Do you have any questions? Okay. So as soon as that webinar ends, send them a text message. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you see yourself doing this with me? What questions can I help answer? Or are you ready to get started? Okay. That line right there is gold, you guys. I have signed so many people because I say, what questions do you have? Or are you ready to get started? Because guess what? They might not have questions. Don't plant a seed if they're like, no, I'm ready, let's do this, right? They're like, no, sign me up, let's go. So make sure you guys follow up right then and there that night of the event. And then I like to do 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. All right. That is my schedule that I've stuck with when I actually figured it out. It has worked so well for me. And I'm going to go grab my calendar real quick so you guys can see this. Hold on 2 seconds. What you guys can do, this is just what's worked for me. Okay, this might not work for you. You might want to do follow-ups in a different way, but this is what's worked for me for the last 4 years in my previous business that took me from like a chaotic mess to a strategic plan of how I was going to do follow-ups. So every single day this was my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you guys. Okay, so every single day when I'm messaging people, calling people, if I do a FaceTime with people, I write their name down. Look at how I kicked butt on Wednesday this week. Look at all those people I talked to. Okay, so as soon as I talk to them, I write their name down on the calendar. Okay, then every day I have a follow-up time. So maybe I have 30 minutes of time that I've set aside to follow up with people. So it's 3:45 right now. Okay, I'm going to put a timer on my phone for 30 minutes, and I'm going to go. If today is Sunday the 31st, what is 2 days before that? Friday the 29th. Okay, every single person that is on Friday the 29th that is not signed up yet, and once they sign up, I highlight them. If they're on that day, they're getting a text message from me. Hey, are you ready to get started with Emrys? Okay, look. That's my timer to check my son into his flight. Are you ready to get started with Emrys, or do you have more questions? Okay, another really good follow-up is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not right now, 10 being I'm ready to sign up, where are you at? Another great follow-up is, hey, what are you thinking? Give it to me straight. You can tell me no, it's okay, but what are you thinking? All right? So I do my follow-ups on Friday. Then if it's Sunday the 31st, I'm going to go back 2 weeks prior. So 2 weeks prior would be March 17th, Sunday, March 17th. Every single person that's on March 17th, I'm going to send them another message too, and I'm going to follow back up with them. All right? Then I go back 2 months from now. That helps me feel like I'm not bugging people. I'm not annoying them, right? And it helps me come up with a system so that nobody's ever falling through the cracks. I'm always doing 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, and I carry that out every single day, you guys. Every day before I go to bed, I go through my text messages and I write down who I talked to that day. It's like habit. If you can get in that habit, you're going to stick to this. And then as you're following up with them, what is the name of your calendar? It's called 222. 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. That's what I call it. Follow up 222. So, and that's just something too, as you guys, like, and Tamera, you can probably attest to this with working full time. I know some of you guys might not relate to me. I do this business full time. I don't have another job. All right. But even I have to structure my day. And so I do that in chunks of, I call them power hours, where I work for an hour, or if you only have 30 minutes, if it's your lunch hour and you've got 30 minutes to work your Emmer's business, what are you doing in those 30 minutes? Do you know what you're doing? If you're going to work tomorrow and you're like, oh, Ashley, you don't know my schedule. I want to get people to these events, but I just don't know when I'm going to have time. You make time. You make time for things that are priority. Schedule it into your lunch hour. If you need to go, sit at your desk, make lunch, eat it at your desk, and spend 15 minutes sending messages to get people to Wednesday and Friday, and then following up with people that you've already talked to about this, do it. Okay, you're never, ever, ever going to look back and go, man, I really regret putting in that time with Emmer's. I really regret that paycheck that I got, right? But you could regret going, I didn't put enough time in. And if I put enough time in, I wonder what my first paycheck would have been like, right? You're never going to regret stuff like that. So yeah, you can use an Excel spreadsheet. I just saw Paula in the chat say that. I've done that in the past too. Whatever works for you guys. I know some people do it in their phones. They put reminders to follow up with people. This is just how I've figured out my follow-ups and how I've stuck with it. So Tamera, any last words of closing?
Oops. You guys, just know we got your back. Let us know what we can do to help you. Re-listen to this before you start making your calls if that's what you need. Go role play with somebody on your team or your sponsor before you make the calls, whatever it is to help you to do it. The biggest thing, a message I ever have heard is just get started. Just do it.
Yep.
And tell yourself you can do it, because you have so many people. And this is why I always say, don't let your fears get in the way of other people's dreams, because there are people out there waiting to hear from you and you have no idea. I am so blessed. I know Ashley is too, that Aspen that thought of us and called us. And so you just don't know who's waiting for your call or needs your call. So just get started and do it. And we hope this has really helped you. I know it's helped me. I'm writing tons of notes, like I said, and I can't wait to go back and make calls. And again, just go do it. Like, it's 2:45. I'm sure you can reach some people. Just do 1 hour today, 30 minutes, whatever you have. And I'm sure you can get a hold of a few people, because when you watch these things and do training, that's when you should be the most excited and be making these calls, because you're ready to go. And they'll see that and hear that in you. Okay?
Yeah.
But good job. Yes, there's
All right, guys.
Get going.
All right, so we do have an opportunity event tonight, webinar at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and that will happen tonight and Monday night and Tuesday night this week with Aspen, Matthew, and Eileen. So make sure you guys get your prospects on there as well. And hey, if you are in Lincoln, get them on tonight, because why? Then you can invite them to Wednesday or Friday, because they're already super excited. Think about the momentum that if you use Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and getting people on these webinars that you can use for momentum to get them to Friday and Wednesday. Maybe they get in tonight, they sign up tonight, and they have 2 people that they're going to bring to the event on Wednesday. Then guess what? Those 2 people get in on Wednesday, and then they go talk to a few friends, and on Friday, they each bring a few people. So I want you guys thinking about that momentum that you can create right now by taking action in your business today, like Tamera said, right after you get off the Zoom. When are you working your business? All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye. Have a great Sunday.